Have you ever been annoyed because it started raining while you were outside? Maybe you forgot your umbrella. Maybe your shoes got wet. Or maybe your phone battery died, and suddenly the day felt ruined. Now imagine this. You wake up to dark clouds covering the sky. Rain starts falling. 1 hour passes. Then another. A day goes by. A week. The rain still hasn't stopped. Your clothes are soaked. The ground has turned into thick mud. The cold is slowly creeping into your body. You have no house, no jacket, no medicine, no supermarket, no emergency shelter, no way to call for help. And when the sun disappears, you're not worried about getting sick. You're worried about becoming dinner. Because somewhere in the darkness, a pack of wolves is listening. A cave bear is searching for food. A hungry saber-toothed cat is waiting for one mistake. Welcome to Earth. 100,000 years ago. This wasn't a horror movie. This was everyday life. And somehow, our ancestors survived. Not for months. Not for years. But for hundreds of thousands of years. The question is, how? How did humans survive endless rain, freezing winters, deadly snowstorms, and a world where almost everything wanted them dead? Let's find out. The first thing to understand is this. Ancient humans didn't fight nature. They learned to read it. Long before weather apps existed, they could predict storms just by watching the sky. Dark clouds moving in a certain direction. Birds suddenly disappearing. The smell of wet earth. Even the behavior of animals warned them that rain was coming. Instead of waiting until the storm arrived, they moved first. To us, that's instinct. To them, it was survival. Here's something surprising. Most people imagine ancient humans living inside caves all the time. That's actually not true. Caves were useful, but they were rare. And sometimes, they were already occupied by bears, hyenas, or lions. So humans became builders, using wooden branches, animal bones, leaves, grass, and huge animal skins. They created temporary shelters wherever they traveled. Some Ice Age humans even built entire homes using mammoth bones as the frame and covered them with thick hides. Imagine living inside the skeleton of one of the biggest animals to ever walk the earth. It sounds unbelievable, but archaeologists have actually discovered these structures. Rain itself wasn't always the biggest danger. The cold was. When your clothes stay wet, your body loses heat much faster. Even today, people can die from hypothermia in temperatures that aren't even below freezing. Ancient humans knew this without understanding the science. That's why animal fur became one of the greatest inventions before inventions even existed. Unlike cotton, fur trapped tiny pockets of warm air close to the body. It worked almost like a modern winter jacket. Reindeer, deer, bison, wolf, whatever animal they hunted. Nothing was wasted. The meat became food. The bones became tools. The skin became clothing. Even the tendons were used as thread. Scientists have found bone needles over 40,000 years old, which means humans weren't simply wrapping themselves in animal hides. They were tailoring clothes to fit their bodies. Fashion didn't begin on a runway. It began because freezing to death wasn't an option. But rain created another terrifying problem. Fire. Today, if your lighter gets wet, you buy another one. Ancient humans couldn't. Making fire wasn't easy. Sometimes it took hours of rubbing wood together or striking stones to create a single spark. If heavy rain destroyed their fire, it could mean no hot food, no warmth, no protection from predators, and possibly death. So they treated fire like treasure. Some tribes never allowed it to go out. Ever. Someone was always watching it. Always feeding it. Always protecting glowing embers from rain using bark, ash, hollow horns, or special containers. Imagine having one responsibility. Keep the fire alive. Because if you fail, everyone could freeze before sunrise. Then came winter. Not today's winter. The Ice Age. Around 20,000 years ago, massive ice sheets covered huge parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. Temperatures dropped far below freezing. Strong winds turned simple snow into deadly blizzards. Many animals disappeared. Others migrated. Food became incredibly difficult to find. And yet, humans survived one of the harshest climates our planet has ever seen. Not because they were the strongest creatures, but because they became the smartest. But surviving the cold wasn't just about staying warm. There was another problem. Food. Imagine hunting when rain has been falling for days. The ground is slippery. Your footprints are everywhere. Animals can smell you from far away. The rivers are overflowing. And the forest has become silent. No supermarkets. No refrigerators. No instant noodles. If you didn't catch food, you didn't eat. Sometimes ancient humans went days without a proper meal. So how did they survive? They became masters of patience. Instead of chasing every animal they saw, they learned at habits. They knew where deer drank water, where mammoths migrated during different seasons, where fish gathered after heavy rain. And they waited. Sometimes for hours. Sometimes for an entire day. One successful hunt could feed an entire tribe. But here's something fascinating. They didn't waste anything. The meat became food. The fat became fuel for lamps and extra calories during winter. Bones became knives, needles, fishhooks, and spear tips. Animal sinew became thread. Even the stomach could be cleaned and used to carry water. To ancient humans, there was no such thing as waste. Everything had another purpose. Now think about sleeping. Tonight, you'll probably sleep on a soft mattress, inside a lockhouse, under a blanket. Ancient humans had none of that. So where did they sleep? Whenever possible. They chose high ground. Not because the view was better. Because rainwater always flows downhill. Sleeping in a low area could mean waking up surrounded by water. They also avoided sleeping near rivers. A river that looked calm during the day could become a deadly flood overnight. Inside shelters, they covered the ground with dry grass, leaves, moss, and animal fur. This created a layer between their bodies and the freezing earth. Because here's a surprising fact. The ground steals body heat much faster than cold air. Even today, survival experts tell people never to sleep directly on the ground in cold weather. Ancient humans figured that out thousands of years before science explained why. But what about babies? This might be the most incredible part of all. Babies can't hunt. They can't build shelters. They can't survive freezing temperatures alone. So how did they stay alive? The answer was each other. Mothers carried babies close to their chest using animal skin slings. Their own body heat acted like a natural heater. At night, families slept close together. Not just because they loved each other, because shared body heat could literally save lives. Imagine an entire family sleeping in a circle around a small fire, with the youngest children safely in the warmer spot. In the ancient world, love wasn't just emotional. It was survival. Rain also brought another danger. Disease. Wet clothes. Dirty water. Open wounds. Without medicine, even a small infection could become deadly. That's why many ancient humans unknowingly practiced simple hygiene. They washed wounds with clean flowing water whenever possible. Some groups used certain plants, tree bark, or moss that naturally slowed bacterial growth. Scientists have even found evidence that Neanderthals may have used medicinal plants thousands of years ago. Imagine discovering medicine without laboratories, only by observing nature. And then, there was the night. We think darkness is peaceful. For ancient humans, darkness belonged to predators. Lions, hyenas, wolves, leopards, even giant bears. Many of these animals hunted after sunset. That's why fire was more than warmth. Most predators feared flames. A burning campfire acted like a protective wall. People also took turns staying awake while everyone else slept. Imagine finishing a full day of hunting, and then staying awake half the night, just in case something with glowing eyes appeared beyond the trees. That was normal life. Every single night. Now here's a question most people never think about. What happened during endless rain? Not just one storm. Weeks of it. The answer is, ancient humans adapted. If one area flooded, they moved. They followed higher ground. They followed migrating animals. They followed food. Unlike us, They weren't tied to cities. Their greatest strength wasn't building permanent homes. It was knowing when to leave. Sometimes, the smartest survival strategy isn't fighting nature. It's getting out of its way. One of the biggest reasons humans survived while many powerful animals disappeared wasn't strength. It was communication. Imagine spotting danger. Instead of keeping it to yourself, you warn everyone. Someone discovers a safer cave. Everyone benefits. Someone invents a better spear. The entire tribe hunts more successfully. Knowledge spread faster than genes. Generation after generation. Humans became smarter not because each individual was brilliant, but because they shared what they learned. That became humanity's greatest superpower.